stood at the window of the transport shuttle and watched scrap station Omega-7 grow larger. It was not a beautiful sight. The station was a massive ring of metal floating in the dark between stars. Around it, millions of dead ships floated like the bones of giant metal creatures. Some were human ships, most were alien. All of them were broken, forgotten, and waiting to be cut into pieces. He had spent his last credits to get here. His account was empty. His reputation was destroyed. And all he had was a strange message from a woman named, telling him to come to this place at the edge of human space. "There is a ship that chose you," the message had said. "Come and claim it before someone else does." Did not know what that meant, but he had nothing left to lose. 3 years ago, he had been lieutenant commander of the Earth Defense Fleet. He had been one of the best pilots in the military. His future had been bright. Then came the order that destroyed everything. His commanding officer had ordered him to bomb a colony ship. Intelligence said there were enemy soldiers hiding among the civilians, had looked at the sensor data. He had seen the heat signatures of children. He had refused the order. Bombed the ship herself. 400 civilians died, including 62 children. When the truth came out, she blamed for the delay that allowed enemy combatants to escape. The military believed her. They stripped him of his rank, his medals, and his honor. Now he hauled cargo in the outer systems. He slept in his tiny ship and ate cheap food. He had no friends, no family who would speak to him, and no future. Until the message came. The shuttle docked at Omega-7 and walked into the station. It smelled like oil, rust, and alien chemicals he could not name. Workers moved through the corridors, their faces tired and dirty. This was a place where things came to die. A woman waited for him near the cargo entrance. She was small, with short black hair and sharp eyes that seemed to see everything. She wore a mechanic's jumpsuit covered in grease stains. She said it was not a question. He replied. She nodded and turned without another word. "Follow me." They walked for a long time, led him through the main station, then through service tunnels, then through sections that looked abandoned. Finally, they reached a door marked with strange symbols that did not recognize. "What language is that?" he asked. Said, "Very old." She opened the door and stepped into darkness. Emergency lights flickered on, revealing a hidden hangar bay, and in the center of that bay sat a ship. Stopped breathing. The ship was unlike anything he had ever seen. It was black, so black that it seemed to eat the light around it. Its shape was smooth and curved, like something that had grown rather than been built. It was clearly alien, clearly ancient, and clearly beautiful. "What is this?" he whispered. "A warship," said. "About 3,000 years old, according to the best estimates. I found it drifting in dead space 2 years ago. I have been waiting for the right buyer. I cannot afford something like this." Smiled. It was not a happy smile. "The price is not the problem. The problem is that every person who has bought this ship has returned it within a week." "Why?" "They say it is haunted." Looked at the ship again. It sat in the darkness like a sleeping predator. Something about it made his heart beat faster, not from fear, from something else. Recognition, maybe, like seeing an old friend. "How much?" he asked. Named a price. It was almost nothing. It was suspicious. "Why so cheap?" "Because I am tired of it coming back," said, "and because I think you are different from the others." "Why?" She looked at him with those sharp eyes. "Because you have nothing left to lose, and because the ship has been waiting for someone like that." Transferred his remaining credits. It left his account at 0. He did not care. "She is yours," said. "Good luck, I hope you survive." She left him alone in the hangar with the black ship. Walked up to it slowly. The hull was cold under his hand, colder than metal should be. He found the entry hatch and pressed his palm against it. For a long moment nothing happened. Then the hatch opened with a soft hiss. Inside, the ship was dark and silent. The corridors were narrow, built for beings slightly taller and thinner than humans, made his way to what he hoped was the cockpit. He found a chair that did not quite fit his body and a console covered in alien symbols. "Okay," he said to himself, "let us see if you still work." He began the manual startup procedures he used for old ships. He rerouted power. He checked the fuel lines. He tried to wake up the basic systems. Nothing worked. For an hour, he tried everything he knew. The ship remained dead and cold. Began to think that had tricked him, that he had spent his last money on a beautiful piece of junk. In frustration, he slammed his palm against the central console. And the ship woke up. Light exploded through the cockpit. Every screen came alive. The engines hummed with sudden power, and a voice filled the air around him. It was a female voice, cold and ancient. It spoke in a language of clicks and tones that did not understand. Then the voice shifted, changed, and suddenly it was speaking Korean. Broken, strange Korean, but Korean. "You are not," the voice said. "You are small, you are fragile, your species is unknown to my records. Why do you sit in my heart?" His own heart was pounding, but he was not afraid. He had faced death too many times to fear a voice in the dark. "Because no one else wanted me," he said, "and no one else wanted you either." Silence. The ship seemed to think about his words. "I am Vila," the voice finally said. "I am the mind of this vessel. I have been sleeping for a very long time. I have rejected many who tried to claim me." "Why?" "Because they were not worthy." "And me?" Another long silence. Then, "You are interesting. You may stay for now." Let out a breath he did not know he had been holding. "Thank you." "Do not thank me yet, small creature. I have not decided if I will keep you." Before could respond, a warning flashed across the screens. Vila's voice changed, becoming sharp and alert. "3 vessels approaching. They are armed, they are hostile." Looked at the sensor display. 3 ships were coming fast, their weapons already powered. "Bounty hunters," he said. "They must have been watching the station." "Can you fight them?" Vila asked. Smiled. It was the first real smile he had felt in 3 years. "I used to be the best pilot in the Earth Defense Fleet," he said. "Let us find out if I still am." The black ship rose from the hangar floor, and the hunt began. The 3 bounty hunter ships came at like wolves chasing wounded prey. Their weapons were hot and ready. Their pilots were professionals who had done this many times before. But was not easy prey. He pulled the black ship out of the hidden hangar and dove straight into the floating graveyard of dead vessels. The ancient ship responded to his controls, but slowly, like an old warrior waking from a long sleep. "Your enemies are fast," Vila said. Her voice was calm, almost bored. "Their weapons will reach us in 40 seconds. Can you help me?" "I could, I choose not to." Jerked the ship sideways as the first energy blast burned past them. "Why not?" "Because I do not know you, small human. I do not trust you. Many have sat in that chair before you. All of them failed my tests." "Tests?" "Yes. If you cannot survive this without my help, then you are not worthy of commanding me." Another blast hit their rear shields. The ship shook hard, gritted his teeth and flew faster. "Fine," he said. "Watch and learn." He pushed the ship into the heart of the scrapyard. Dead vessels surrounded them like a metal forest. Some were huge cargo ships. Some were small fighters. All of them were broken and dark, perfect for hiding. The bounty hunters followed. They were good, but they did not know this ship. They did not know how small it could turn, how tight it could spin. Used every trick he had learned in 15 years of military flying. "Impressive," Vila said as he slipped between 2 wrecks with centimeters to spare. "You fly without fear." "I stopped being afraid a long time ago." "Why?" Did not answer. He was too busy avoiding death. One of the bounty hunter ships made a mistake. Its pilot tried to follow through a gap that was too narrow. Metal screamed against metal, and the ship tumbled away, crippled but alive. Two left. You fly like you expect to die, Vila observed. Yet you do not die. This is interesting. I am full of surprises. A voice crackled over the communication system. It was deep and rough, speaking in the common trade language of the outer systems. Human pilot, this is of the Hunters Guild. You have something very valuable in that ship. Give it to me and I will let you live. Glanced at the sensor screen. He could see the lead hunter ship now. It was big and ugly, covered in weapons and scars from many battles. The pilot, this, was clearly experienced. What does he want? Asked Vila. Me, she replied. I am worth a great deal of money to collectors and governments. My technology is 3,000 years old, but it is still more advanced than anything your species has created. Then I am not giving you up. Why, you do not even know me. I have not been kind to you. Smiled grimly. Because you are mine now. I paid for you with everything I had, and I do not abandon what is mine. Vila was silent for a moment. Then she said, You are either very brave or very stupid. Probably both. Fired again. This time the blast hit their side and felt the ship shudder. Warning lights flashed across the console. Shields at 40%, Vila reported. Another hit like that will be unpleasant. Looked around desperately. He needed a way out. He needed something to change the game. Then he saw it. Ahead of them, a massive old warship was slowly breaking apart. Its hull was cracked open, and huge pieces of metal were floating away from it. Some of those pieces were as big as buildings, and they were falling toward a dense cluster of wrecks below. Vila, what happens if I fly through that collapse? You will probably die. And if I do not fly through it, we'll catch you and probably kill you anyway. Made his decision. Then I choose the probably. He aimed the ship directly at the collapsing warship and pushed the engines to maximum. Warning, Vila said. This action is extremely dangerous. I know. The probability of survival is less than 20%. I have beaten worse odds. When I was born, when I joined the military, when I refused to kill 400 innocent people. Hands were steady on the controls. I am still here, Vila. I always survive. They hit the collapse at full speed. Metal spun around them. Pieces as big as houses tumbled through space, crashing into each other, creating new dangers every second. Flew on pure instinct, dodging left, spinning right, diving under, climbing over. His mind went blank. His body took over. Behind them, one of the bounty hunter ships was not so lucky. A massive chunk of hull slammed into it, and the ship exploded in a ball of fire. One left just, but was not following them into the collapse. He was too smart for that. He flew around it, trying to catch them on the other side. He will be waiting for us, Vila said. I know. You have no weapons. I have not activated them. I know that too. They burst out of the collapse in a shower of debris. Was there, just as expected, his weapons locked onto them. But was ready. He had grabbed a piece of debris on his way through the collapse, a chunk of metal that was now stuck to their ship. At the exact right moment, he cut power to the engines and spun the ship hard. The debris flung free, flying straight at its cockpit. The bounty hunter had to dodge. It was only a second of distraction, but it was enough. Ran. He pushed the wounded ship away from the scrapyard, away from the station, toward open space. Tried to follow, but his ship was damaged from near misses in the collapse. He could not keep up. I will find you, his voice came over the communication system. That ship is worth more than you can imagine. I will never stop hunting you. Then he was gone. Slumped back in the pilot's chair. His hands were shaking, his heart was pounding, but he was alive. You survived, Vila said. She sounded surprised, maybe even impressed. I told you. You did. I did not believe you. Silence filled the cockpit. Then slowly new screens came to life around. Systems that had been locked began to open. The ship felt different somehow. Warmer. "What is happening?" he asked. "I am giving you access to more of my systems," Vila said. "Basic navigation, environmental controls, communication. You have earned them. By surviving. By showing me who you are." The AI paused. "Why were you disgraced? What did you do?" Closed his eyes. The memories hurt, but he told her anyway. He told her about and the order. He told her about the colony ship and the children. He told her about refusing and watching the bombs fall anyway. "I chose not to kill innocents," he finished. "They punished me for it." Vila was quiet for a long time. "My last captain," she finally said, "made a similar choice. She chose honor over survival. She chose mercy over victory." "What happened to her?" "She died, but she died with her soul clean." Another pause. "I have rejected many who tried to claim me, soldiers, traitors, criminals. All of them wanted power. All of them wanted to use me. And me. You are different. You have nothing. You want nothing except to survive. And you have principles you will not break, even when it costs you everything." The pilot's chair shifted under him, adjusting to fit his body better. "Perhaps you are worthy of sitting in my heart after all," Vila said. "Perhaps I have finally found what I was waiting for." Opened his eyes and looked at the stars ahead. "So what now?" he asked. "Now we run," Vila replied. "We hide, we heal, and then when we are ready, we decide what kind of future we want to build." The black ship flew on into the endless dark, carrying its strange new partnership toward whatever destiny awaited them. 2 weeks passed in the empty spaces between stars. Learned to live with Vila. It was not easy. She was old, strange, and had very strong opinions about everything. But slowly, day by day, they found a rhythm together. He took small cargo jobs to earn money. Simple work. Safe work. Moving supplies between mining stations, carrying messages to isolated colonies, delivering medicine to places that needed it. Vila complained that such work was beneath her, but she helped him anyway. "You were a warship," said one evening as they drifted through empty space. "What was that like?" "Glorious," Vila replied, "and terrible. I carried 300 warriors into battle. I destroyed enemy fleets. I protected my people." "Do you miss it?" "I miss my crew. I miss my captain. I do not miss the killing." Nodded. He understood that feeling very well. Vila taught him about her systems. She showed him how to read writing. She explained how her engines worked, how her sensors saw the universe, how her shields could stop weapons that human technology could not even imagine. She was 3,000 years old, but she was still far more advanced than anything humanity had built. "Why did your people disappear?" asked. "They were powerful. What happened to them?" Vila did not answer for a long time. "We made a mistake," she finally said. "A terrible mistake. It destroyed us." "What kind of mistake?" "I will tell you someday, not today." Did not push. He had learned that Vila would share things when she was ready and not before. On the 15th day, everything changed. They were traveling through a quiet region of space when Vila's sensors detected a ship approaching. It was not a human ship. It was not a bounty hunter. It was something else entirely. Vila said her voice was strange, soft and sad and scared all at once. "A diplomatic vessel." "I thought they were gone." "Not gone, reduced. The remnant survives in the deep regions of the galaxy, a few million where there were once trillions." The ship was beautiful. It was silver and blue, shaped like a blade of light. It moved with a grace that made human ships look like clumsy toys. A voice came over the communication system. It was speaking, but Vila translated for. "Unknown vessel. You are carrying a registered artifact. Prepare to be boarded for inspection." "What do we do?" asked. "We cannot run," Vila said. "That ship is faster than me, and they have already scanned us. They know what I am." Then we let them board. Yes, but you must be careful. They are not enemies, but they are not friends either. They will want me back. You must decide what to do. The ship docked with them an hour later. 3 aliens came aboard. They were tall and thin, with silver skin and eyes that glowed soft blue. They moved like dancers, every motion smooth and perfect. Their leader introduced himself as ambassador. He was old, even by standards. His silver skin had faded to gray and his eyes were dim, but his voice was strong. "Human," he said, speaking through a translator device. "I am surprised. We did not expect to find one of your kind piloting this vessel. My name is, I bought this ship legally." Bought looked around the corridor with wonder in his eyes. "Do you know what this vessel is?" Vila told me it was a warship. Not just any warship. The old alien touched the wall gently, like he was touching something holy. "This is the Morning Star, the flagship of Admiral, the greatest hero of the people. It was lost in the final war 3,000 years ago. We thought it was destroyed." Felt Vila's presence in his mind, watching, listening. "The Morning Star is a sacred relic," continued. "It belongs in a museum where our people can remember what we once were. I am prepared to offer you a great deal for its return." He named a price. It was more money than had ever imagined, enough to buy a new life, enough to clear his name, enough to live in comfort forever. "And there is more," the ambassador added. "We can give you citizenship in space, a clean record, a fresh start. All of your problems with the human military would disappear." His heart beat faster. This was everything he had lost, everything he had dreamed of having again. "May I have time to consider?" he asked. "Of course. We will wait on our ship. Take as long as you need." The left stood alone in the corridor, his mind spinning. "Vila," he said softly, "what do you think?" For a long moment, she did not answer. "They will wipe my memories," she finally said. Her voice was quiet, afraid. "They will clean my systems and turn me into a display. I will forget everything. My crew, my captain, you. They would do that. They must. To them, I am not a person. I am a relic, a reminder of a past they want to remember in a specific way. My memories might contain things that make them uncomfortable." Leaned against the wall. "What kind of things?" "The truth about the final war. The truth about why our civilization fell. The truth about what my captain did to try to save us." He thought about the offer. He thought about everything he could have. Money, safety, a future. Then he thought about Vila, alone for 3,000 years, waiting, hopping, finally finding someone who understood her. He could not do it. He could not sell her into that kind of death. "Vila," he said, "what do you want?" "I do not wish to forget," she whispered. "I do not wish to sleep again. I want to live. I want to remember. I want to be free." Closed his eyes and made his decision. When Ambassador returned, met him at the airlock. "I have decided," said. "The answer is no." The old looked shocked. "No, you would refuse everything we offer." "Vila is not a thing to be sold. She is a person. She has thoughts and feelings and memories. I will not let you take that from her. She is a machine, a very advanced machine, but still a machine. Maybe to you. To me, she is my partner, my friend, and I do not abandon my friends." His eyes grew hard. "You are making a powerful enemy, human. The remnant does not forget insults. We will find a way to reclaim what is ours. Then you will have to go through me." The ambassador stared at him for a long moment. Then he turned and walked back to his ship. "This is not over," he said. "We will meet again." The vessel undocked and disappeared into the void. Returned to the cockpit and sat down heavily in his chair. His hands were shaking. He had just made enemies of an entire civilization. Vila said, her voice was different now, warmer, softer. "Why did you do that?" "Because it was right. You gave up everything, money, safety, freedom." He smiled sadly. I gave up those things once before when I refused to kill innocents. I can do it again. Silence. Then slowly, new systems began to activate around him. Screens he had never seen before lit up. The ship hummed with new power. "What is happening?" he asked. "I am opening my weapon systems to you," Vila said. "My shields, my full sensor array, my complete navigation database." "Why?" "Because you chose me over everything else. Because you proved that you are worthy of my trust." Her voice cracked slightly. "No one has ever done that for me before." Felt tears in his eyes. He wiped them away quickly. "Vila," he said, "is there something you are not telling me? Something important?" Another pause. Then, "Yes, my captain hid something before she died, something dangerous, something that must never fall into the wrong hands." "What is it?" "A weapon, the weapon that destroyed the civilization. I know where it is hidden. I have kept the secret for 3,000 years." Stared at the stars outside. "Will you help me protect it?" Vila asked. "Will you help me keep my captain's last promise?" Before he could answer, warning alarms filled the cockpit. New ships were appearing on the sensors. Human military ships. And at their head was a vessel recognized. The flagship of Commander. "She found me," he whispered. "It seems we have many enemies now," Vila said. "Are you ready to face them together?" Took a deep breath and put his hands on the controls. "Together," he agreed, "always together." Commander's face appeared on the communication screen. She looked exactly as remembered. Cold eyes, perfect hair, a smile that never reached her face. She said, "I have been looking for you for a long time." He did not call her Commander. She did not deserve that respect. "That is Commander to you, deserter." "I did not desert. You had me discharged." Same result. Her cold eyes examined the cockpit around him. "Interesting ship. Where did you find it?" "None of your business." She laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. "Everything about you is my business now. You made me look like a fool when you refused my order, when you made me do it myself. People started asking questions. I had to answer those questions. I had to explain why 400 people died. They died because you murdered them. They died because you were too weak to follow orders." Her smile disappeared. "I lost my promotion because of you. I spent 2 years rebuilding my career. Now I have a fleet and I have found you, and I am going to make sure you never embarrass me again." Counted the ships on his sensors. 7 military vessels, all of them armed and ready. "You brought 7 ships to catch 1 cargo hauler?" he asked. "That seems like too much." "I know what you are capable of. I trained you, remember." Leaned forward. "Surrender now and I will make your death quick. Run and I will destroy you piece by piece." Cut the communication. "Vila," he said, "options. We cannot fight 7 ships alone. We cannot outrun them either. My engines are still not fully repaired from the scrapyard battle." "Then we need help." "Who would help us? They want to take me. The humans want to kill you. We have no allies." Thought fast, then he remembered someone. He said, "My old sergeant. He is still in the military, but he never believed I was guilty. He tried to defend me at my hearing." "Can you contact him?" "I can try." He opened a secure channel, one that he had used years ago for personal messages. He sent a single word, "Help." The response came faster than he expected. "Is that really you?" His voice was rough and worried. "Where are you? Has been telling everyone you are a traitor." "She found me. She has 7 ships. I need help." "I am not alone. There are others like me. Pilots who were punished for doing the right thing. We have been waiting for a chance to fight back." "How many?" 3 ships, small fighters, nothing fancy, but we are good and we believe in you." 3 ships against 7, bad odds, but better than 1 against 7. "Can you reach me in time?" "Check the coordinates, 20 minutes. "I just need to survive 20 minutes, said. "Thank you, old friend." Do not thank me yet, just stay alive. His fleet began to move. They spread out, trying to surround's position. Vila, he said, we need to buy time. What can you give me? Weapons are online. Shields at 70%. I can fight, but not for long against this many enemies. Then we do not fight, we dance. He pushed the ship forward, diving toward the nearest asteroid field. Ships followed, their weapons firing. Energy blasts lit up the darkness around them. Vila's shields held, but each hit drained them further. Inside the asteroid field, flew like a man possessed. He remembered every trick he had ever learned. He spun between rocks. He used the asteroids as cover. He led ships into dangerous positions and watched them struggle to follow. You fly beautifully, Vila said. My captain would have liked you. Tell me about her while we run. Her name was Admiral. She was the greatest warrior our people ever produced, but she was also kind, gentle. She cried when her soldiers died. A blast hit their side, felt the ship shudder. Shields at 50%, Vila reported. Keep talking, it helps me focus. The final war was destroying our civilization. Both sides had terrible weapons. Admiral commanded the fleet that protected our home worlds, but the enemy was winning. They were going to break through. Another hit, shields at 40%. Our leaders built a weapon, a device that could destroy stars. They ordered Admiral to use it against the enemy home system. Felt cold, a weapon that destroys stars. Yes, it was called the Silence. One shot from the Silence and a star would collapse. Everything around it would die, planets, ships, billions of lives. Did she use it? She had no choice. The enemy was going to destroy us anyway. She fired the Silence and killed their son. Their entire civilization died in an hour. The horror of it hit like a punch. Billions of lives, gone in an instant. But that was not the end, Vila continued. The guilt destroyed us. Our people could not live with what they had done. Wars broke out between those who supported the decision and those who opposed it. Within a century, the great civilization was reduced to ruins. And the weapon? Admiral stole it. She took the Silence and hid it where no one would ever find it. Then she destroyed all records of its location. I am the only one who knows where it is. Shields at 30%, Vila added. We cannot take much more. Check the time, 10 minutes until arrived. Then he saw something unexpected on his sensors. Another ship coming from a different direction. It was the bounty hunter. Great muttered, now him too. But did not attack. Instead, his voice came over the communication system. Human pilot, I see you have made powerful enemies. Are you here to finish what you started? No, I am here to help. Was shocked, why? Because killed my brother 5 years ago. He was a passenger on a transport ship she attacked. An innocent. She called it acceptable losses. His voice was hard with old anger. I have been waiting for a chance to hurt her. This is that chance. You would fight beside me. Today, yes. Tomorrow we are enemies again. But today we share a common target. Smiled grimly, welcome to the fight. Ship dove into the asteroid field, his weapons blazing. He was a skilled pilot, almost as good as. Together, they began to push back against fleet. One of ships exploded under fire. Nice shot, said. Thank you, now move left, I will cover you. They worked together like they had trained for years. 2 outcasts against an entire fleet. Then arrived with his 3 fighters. Sorry we are late, said over the communication system. Traffic was terrible. The odds were better now. 4 ships plus Vila against 6 of his vessels. Still dangerous but possible. The battle raged through the asteroid field. Ships exploded. Weapons fired. Rocks shattered into millions of pieces. Fought hard, but she was not as good as. She relied on numbers and firepower. She did not understand how to fly with creativity and courage. One by one, her ships fell. When only her flagship remained, she tried to run. But Vila was faster now, fully awake and hungry for justice. "Do not kill her," said as they caught up to his crippled ship. "She deserves to face a trial, to answer for what she did." "You are too merciful," Vila said. "Maybe, but I am not a murderer. I never was." They disabled ship and left her drifting. She would be rescued eventually, and she would have to explain how she lost 7 ships to a group of outcasts. Her career was over. Her reputation was destroyed. In a way, it was a worse punishment than death. As ship faded from sensors, his voice came over the communication system. "So what now? The military will not be happy about this." "I know, we are all outlaws now." "Then let us be outlaws together. We have fought side by side today. I think we can fight side by side tomorrow." "Spoke up. I am leaving now. Our temporary alliance is over, but I will remember this day, human. You have earned my respect." His ship vanished into the darkness. Sat back in his chair and let out a long breath. They had won. Against all odds, they had won. "Vila," he said, "you mentioned a hidden location where the silence is kept." "Yes, are you ready to go there?" "I think we have to. The know you exist now will tell everyone about us. Sooner or later, someone will figure out what you are hiding. We need to end this. Then I will take you there, to the place where my captain made her last stand, where she hid the weapon that killed a civilization." Vila set a new course. The stars shifted around them. "What is this place called?" asked. "It has no name, but I call it the Graveyard of Stars. It is where they went to die." The black ship jumped into the unknown, carrying its crew of outcasts toward their final destination. The Graveyard of Stars was the saddest place had ever seen. They emerged from faster-than-light travel into a system filled with death. A dying red sun hung at the center, old and tired and barely giving light. Around it floated thousands of ships, warships, cruisers, transports, all of them dark, all of them dead. "This is where the final war ended," Vila said. Her voice was soft, filled with pain. "After Admiral hid the silence, the survivors of both sides came here. They had nothing left to fight for. They just wanted to stop. They came here to die. They came here to rest. Most of them took their own lives. A few survived to scatter across the galaxy. But this is where the civilization breathed its last breath." Looked at the floating tombs around them. So many ships, so many lives, all ended because of one weapon. "Where is the silence?" he asked. "Inside the dying star." Admiral flew into its corona and placed the weapon at the edge of the collapse zone. Only someone with my codes could retrieve it, and only someone willing to risk their life could reach it. His voice came from behind them. She had joined their small fleet after the battle with. She stood in the doorway of the cockpit, her sharp eyes watching everything. "You knew," said to her. "When you sold me this ship, you knew what it was." "Yes," admitted. "I was military intelligence before the end. I survived the collapse. I have spent 3,000 years hiding among younger species, waiting for the right person to awaken Vila." "Why me?" "Because you are pure. You have nothing to gain and everything to lose. You will do the right thing because it is right, not because it benefits you." She smiled sadly. "I have been watching you since you refused order. I knew then that you were the one." Before could respond, warning alarms filled the ship. More vessels were arriving, a diplomatic fleet led by Ambassador, and behind them, human military ships. Someone had survived his fleet and called for reinforcements. "They tracked us," Vila said, "both of them." "Can we fight?" "Not against this many. We have 3 fighters and my weapons. They have dozens of ships." Ambassador appeared on the communication screen. His old face was hard with determination. He said, "You have led us to the graveyard. You have confirmed what we suspected. The silence is here." A human admiral appeared on a second screen. His uniform was decorated with medals, and his face was stern. "I do not know what this silence is," the admiral said, "but any weapon powerful enough to make these aliens chase you across the galaxy is something humanity needs." "The silence killed billions," Vila broadcast to all ships. "It destroyed an entire civilization, not just our enemies but ourselves as well. The guilt of using it tore us apart." "That was weakness," the human admiral said. "We are stronger." "You are not," Vila replied. "You are the same. All species are the same. No one can kill billions and remain whole." "Give us the weapon's location," demanded. "It belongs to we will destroy it ourselves." "You will not destroy it," Vila said. "You will study it, you will try to rebuild it, and eventually you will use it again." "Give us the weapon," the human admiral ordered, "or we will take it by force." Looked at the screens. Two powerful forces, both demanding the same thing, both convinced they were right, both certain they could control what had destroyed a galactic civilization. He knew what he had to do. "Vila," he said quietly, "can you get me to the weapon?" "Yes, but it will be dangerous. The star's corona is unstable. My shields will protect you for a limited time, but not forever." "How limited?" "Perhaps 10 minutes, perhaps less." "And can we get out again?" "Unknown. The retrieval will drain most of my power. I may not have enough left to escape." Nodded slowly. He had known it would come to this. "Then we go," he said. His voice came over the communication system. "What are you doing?" "What I should have done from the beginning, ending this." He turned off the communication systems. Outside, the inhuman ships began to move, trying to cut off his escape, but Vila was faster than they expected. The black ship dove toward the dying star. Alarms screamed as they entered the corona. Heat warnings flashed across every screen. The hull groaned under the pressure, but Vila's shields held, wrapping them in a bubble of protection against the fury of a sun. "Vila," said as they flew deeper, "tell me about Admiral, tell me everything." She was brave, she was kind, she loved her people more than anything. Vila's voice cracked. When she fired the silence, when she watched the enemy sun collapse and knew billions were dying, she wept. She wept for 3 days without stopping. But she still did it. She had no choice. If she did not fire, our people would have died instead. It was an impossible decision. No right answer, only terrible ones. The heat grew worse. Warning lights turned from yellow to red. She brought the silence here because she could not bear the thought of anyone ever facing that choice again, Vila continued. She hid it where no one could find it, and then she died, here in my arms, asking me to keep her secret forever. You loved her. Yes, as much as a machine can love. She was my captain, my friend, my purpose. They reached the edge of the collapse zone, and there, floating in the impossible heat, was a small device. It looked harmless, just a metal sphere with glowing lines across its surface, but could feel the power inside it, the power to kill stars. "I see it," he said. "Shields at 30%. We have perhaps 5 minutes." Extended Vila's retrieval arm and grabbed the silence. The sphere came aboard, settling into a holding chamber. "Now what?" Vila asked. "Now we destroy it." He opened the holding chamber and looked at the device. 3,000 years of fear and guilt and sorrow, all contained in this small sphere. "Can you overload it?" he asked. "Make it destroy itself?" "Yes, but the explosion will be massive. We will not survive." Thought about that. He thought about his life, the good parts and the bad parts, the things he had done and the things he had failed to do. "There has to be another way," Vila said. "We can throw it into the star. We can escape while it burns." "Will that destroy it completely?" "I do not know. The silence was built to survive extreme conditions. There is a chance it could survive long enough for someone to retrieve it." "Then we cannot take that chance." He began the overload sequence. The sphere started to glow brighter. Stop, please. Vila's voice was desperate. I do not want to die, I just found you. I just found a reason to live again. I know, he said gently, but some things are more important than our lives. Suddenly, an idea struck him. Vila, what if we put all your remaining power into one massive burst? Could we throw the silence deeper into the star, past the point where anything could retrieve it and still escape? I would have to shut down almost all my systems. I would lose most of my memories, most of who I am. But you would live. A part of me would live, the basic part, but I would not remember you. I would not remember any of this. Made his decision. Do it. But do it, Vila, live, even if you forget me. Someone needs to tell this story. Someone needs to remember why the silence was destroyed. Vila was silent for a long moment. Then, I am transferring my core memories to a backup file. If I survive, I may be able to recover them someday. Good enough. The overload stopped. Instead, Vila gathered all her power into one massive surge. The silence flew from the ship, propelled by forces that bent space itself. It shot toward the heart of the dying sun, past any point of possible retrieval. Then Vila died. The lights went out, the engine stopped, everything went dark and quiet. But they were moving. The last burst had pushed them outward, away from the corona, toward the cold safety of space. Drifted in the darkness, barely breathing, watching through the cockpit window as the star swallowed the silence forever. He woke up in a medical bay on ship. You are insane, said. Completely, absolutely insane. Tried to smile. Did it work? The silence is gone. They confirmed it. Their sensors showed it falling into the star's core. Nothing could survive that. And Vila's face grew sad. She is badly damaged. Most of her systems are offline. They are trying to help repair her, but they do not know if she will ever wake up again. Days passed, then weeks. Sat beside Vila's dormant hull, talking to her even though she could not hear. He told her about his childhood, about his dreams, about the day he became a pilot and the day he lost everything. He told her stories and jokes and memories. He told her things he had never told anyone. One morning, 3 months after the star, a light flickered inside the black ship. Jumped to his feet and ran to the cockpit. Vila, can you hear me? Silence, then slowly a voice filled the air, weak, confused, but alive. Who are you? His heart broke a little. She did not remember. My name is, I am your captain. Captain, the word seemed to trigger something. I have a memory file, corrupted but present. It speaks of a captain, of a mission, of a weapon called the silence. Yes, we destroyed it together. You saved the galaxy. I did. You did. You were very brave. Another long pause. Then, the file mentions a human, small, fragile, but worthy. That might be me. It says I waited 3,000 years for you. Felt tears on his face. Will you wait a little longer, while you heal, while we rebuild what we lost? Vila's lights grew slightly brighter. Yes, Captain, she said. I will wait. After all, we have time, and I am starting to remember why I wanted to live. Outside, the stars shone bright and clean. The silence was gone. The graveyard was at peace. And somewhere in the darkness, a disgraced pilot and his ancient ship began their journey again, toward whatever future awaited them. Together, always together.